So welcome to Bilband Ultrasound Institute. Today we are going to take the interactive question and answer session. This will be for those who have joined with us, who are registered with us for different server-based courses. This is not a training session right now what we are conducting. So this is not a training course, but a question and answer session for our registered candidates who are undergoing different server-based courses. Today, we got some questions and I'm displaying the questions, and these questions are here on the board also. First question from Dr. Alam is that I have a question. These are copy-pasted questions. Copy-pasted means the language is original. We got these questions, we copied it, and we pasted it onto this slide. I have a question regarding echogenicity. This is what is stated by Dr. Alam Noor. When we can use the hyper or hypoechoic while scanning the same organ. So I'm summing up the question. He's confused with the echogenicity, like when to state hyperechoic, when to state hypoechoic, whether I have to compare it with the adjacent organs. So this is the question which we will take. Next question is about the knobs, which is posted by Dr. Shrija Samraj about the knobs. And the third question from Dr. Shipra is about the lymph nodes, how it appears on the tuberculosis and how different they are in the malignant cases. Then next question from Dr. Tara Num Akhtar is that how to measure the endometrial thickness, and Dr. Raj Jadav is posting a question regarding the convex probe. I told that in class that the convex probe is having a bandwidth. This is the question regarding how to change that bandwidth from 2 to 5 without changing the probe, how to change the frequency. I will sum up the question in one line. And next question from Dr. Abhinav is that in fatty liver, the AP diameter is more. What about the normal? How much is the normal range of the AP, I mean in liver, how much is transverse and how much is the long? I'm summing up the questions. And the next question from Dr. Abhinash is that during diastolic flow, if it is touching the baseline or if it is reverse, how to calculate the resistive index? And the third question from the same doctor, Dr. Abhinash, is that, sir, I am getting reports of prostatomegaly 1, 2, 3, whether I should go with the grading or the weight. So I have summed up the questions. These are the questions displayed. You can go through your questions over here. Now, as you can see, I have put these questions over here so that I will not skip any question. Now, the first question I will read over here from Dr. Alam is that hypoechogenicity while scanning the same organ like a liver, how to compare it with the other liver. I am summing up the question. That doctor wants to know about the echogenicity. When I say echogenicity, having to compare it with, yes, you have to compare it with. When I say echogenicity, now see, when I say echogenicity is hyperechoic or hypoechoic, I am actually comparing it with. But not always I have to compare it with the adjacent organ. So see, not always I have to compare it with the adjacent organ. Like I am having a liver over here. For example, I am having a liver. When I am comparing the overall echogenicity of the liver, overall echogenicity, mind my words, when I am comparing the overall echogenicity of the liver, then my scale is over here, and that is the kidney. So when I am comparing the overall echogenicity of an organ, then I have to compare it with the adjacent organ. Like in kidney, like we know that there is the central part. Central part is more echogenic than the peripheral part. So to say whether this kidney cortex is having less echogenicity, more echogenicity? I will not discuss all over here because this is already covered over there. So the answer is that when I have to compare the overall echogenicity of the liver, I have to use the adjacent organ, but not always. Why? Because, for example, there is in liver, there is a patch over there. This patch cannot be compared with the organ. This patch I have to compare with the liver echogenicity. So when you say with what to compare, if I have to compare the whole of the organ, then I have to use the other organ for comparison. But if I am using, if I am defining the echogenicity of a patch in the, for example, in this case, the liver, I have to use the echogenicity of the liver to say whether this patch is hyper or hypoechoic. So I hope that I have covered the first organ, first question from Dr. Alam. Now the next question from not from Dr. Shrisha, by another doctor, is that I will be using a GE Logic 5-6 machine. Kindly brief about the knobs of that machine. Now see, there are many machines, there are many companies, and the knobs, these knobs will not be same in each and every machine. Like you are having an Android phone. If I say you, where is the knob in your Android phone? In your phone, where is the button for getting the message list? You will say that it is on the top, in the corner, on the right side. For example, in your phone, it is on the right, in the corner, somewhere at left corner or right corner. But in my phone, I cannot say whether it will be on the same position like in your phone. I have to see for that. But I know that there is a knob, there is a button for messaging options, to get to the messaging options. Can you say where it will be in a Samsung phone, for example, any model, 8 model, or in a Vivo phone, or an Apple phone, any phone? I cannot say. Same is true for the machines also. You have to see yourself where these knobs are. It is humanly not possible for a person to memorize all the knobs in all the machines. But the basic important point is that you should be knowing that I have to search for this knob, this knob, this knob, and that knob. You have to search for the frequency knob. There has to be a frequency knob. There has to be, there has to be a frequency knob. There has to be a knob for the dynamic range. There has to be a knob for the gain. There has to be a knob for TGC. Now, where it will be in a specific machine, that is humanly not possible. Now, in continuity, I will take another question. There was a question. Yeah, it is by Dr. Shri Jha. What is the significance of the knobs of P1, P2, and P3 in the machine? It is the same question, and the reply is the same. How can I say for what is this P1 knob? You have to see for yourself. By pressing this knob, what is happening with the machine? In some machines, in some G machines, P3 is for to print. But I cannot say that the P3 is set to print it out. In logic P3, probably, I'm recalling from my memory, in logic P3, the P3 is for print. But maybe in a P5 machine, in the same logic P5 machine, it is not for print, but for to save. You have to see to yourself. I cannot say that this knob will be forever for this. No. Now, another question, which knob is used to measure the fetal heart rate? M mode or PW knob? For M mode, for tracing the fetal heart, you have to go to M mode only. Now, there is something which is rule. M mode is for the tracing of the fetal heart. So, not you are previously you were in B mode. Now you have to go to the M mode to trace the fetal heart. So the answer is here M mode. What is acoustic impedance? Dr. Shrija's question. Next question. Same doctor. What is acoustic impedance and PRF and its significance in learning ultrasound? Now see, acoustic impedance. What is impedance? Impedance means when the beam is coming. Now see, if this is the area what I am scanning, if this is the area, let's take it as a monitor. Okay, I am sending the beam from here. It is going into this with a strength of 100, for example, 100. So the beam is penetrating into the body by, for example, a strength of 100. Now, as beam will penetrate up to this point, it will be weakened. By how much it will be weakened? Now, I am putting a counter question. By how much it will be weakened when it is traveling from this point to this point? It depends on the stiffness of this organ. It depends on the stiffness of this area, I will say. If this organ is more stiff, now see, if this area is more stiff, what will happen to this 100? It will drop. Maybe by reaching over here, it will remain 10 only. If this area is more stiff, but the point is, if this area is not as stiff as it was previously in some other part, if it is less stiff, I'm using a simple word, less stiff, then it will not be 100, it can be maybe a 50 over here when it reached from this point to this point. It means that if this patch, if this area is more stiff, the penetrating beam will get more attenuated. So this is attenuation. So you have to clear the attenuation. Now there is an attenuation coefficient also. Let's not indulge in these complicated terms. So the attenuation is the stiffness of the organ, is defined by the stiffness of the organ. PRF. Next point is, what is PRF? PRF is pulse repetitive frequency. Pulse repetitive frequency. Now, pulse repetitive frequency means when a machine is sending the beam, when the machine is sending the beam, now see, machine is sending the beam. Let's take an example of 100 seconds. 100 seconds. Let's calculate it in 100 seconds. If machine is sending the beam for 1 second, now see, for 1 second, it is listening for 99% of the time. So the listening period is always more than sending the beam. Try to understand this first. So machine is sending for 1 second and it is listening for 99 seconds. What will be the duty factor? Duty factor is 1. So the duty factor is the total number of time in which machine is sending the beam. Now, if I decrease this time, this listening period, if I decrease this listening period, what I am actually doing, I am increasing the working of machine. This is pulse, repetitive frequency. How often I am sending the beam in the organ. Make a note here. More the listening period, This is physics. Physics is damn important. And we doctors from this part of the world, in this Indian subcontinent, I'm very sorry to say, they are weak with physics. That is why they are struggling with ultrasound. So this is physics here. So the point here is you have to give more time to machine to listen. And if you give less time to machine to listen, machine cannot work properly. So your PRF, pulse repetitive frequency, repeating of the pulse. Now see, repeating of the pulse after a time has to be as less as possible. That is pulse repetitive frequency. So this was the question from the doctor. Now let us see the next question. Very sorry, there is some technical glitch. Yeah, got it. Now the lymph nodes. Dr. Shipra's question. Lymph nodes. Now a lymph node can be benign and can be malignant also. How to differentiate? The question is how to differentiate a lymph node, whether it is benign or a malignant lymph node. I have to see the lymph node, how the lymph node is. If lymph node is more horizontal, now see, more horizontal in body, that is a normal lymph node, that is not a malignant case. If it is more horizontal, but if the lymph node is more vertical, that is going in favor of malignancy. I'm using word favor. That is going in favor of malignancy. There is a central part in lymph node which is more hyperechoic. If this part is hyperechoic, that is not going in favor of malignancy. But if this central part is more hypoechoic, that is going in favor of malignancy. So see to how the lymph node is in body, vertical or horizontal, and see for the central part whether it is hypo or hyper. Of course, you will put a Doppler also, I mean the color, to see whether it is more vascular. That will topping up the diagnosis. So this was the reply to the question posted by Dr. Shipra. Now, next question. Please tell me how to measure endometrial thickness by Dr. Taranum Akhtar. How to measure an endometrial thickness? Please complete the topic first. Please complete the sub-course what you are taking. I am 100% sure that this doctor has not yet completed the gynae ultrasound. Gynae ultrasound will take about 2 months, if not more. These things are in detail over there. So we are not taking right now the course. I am taking the question and answers also. So I'll be entertaining the questions only. So this is in your course. You please go through the course, complete your course, and at least touch the course where the endometrial thickness is, because this is already in your course. So just a brief. This is the uterus. I am having here the endometrial. Endometrium is having, for example, in this case, a triple line. You have to measure from outer to outer, not inner to inner, outer to outer. So it is actually from the endomyojunction from one side to another side, including both endomyojunction. So it is from the outer to outer. Over here, we are having 3 layers. Actually, these are not 3 layers. These are 4 layers. because the central line is the central cavity coming from this side. This is all in detail in your course. So if I to reply in one sentence, it is from outer to outer. Again, repeating, please complete your course before posting the question, because these things are already in your course over there. Next question from Dr. Judd. How is that when we use convex probe with a frequency range between 2 to 5, how to increase the frequency of the given probe? And what is the difference between the frequency and the frame rate? Can they be interchangeable? So the point here is that, again, I have to come to the probe, knobs or knobology. Dr. Jadhav, there is a class in physics and machine settings that is approx of 40 minutes, if not more. Please go to our class. We have even shown on the machine over there where is that knob. But again, repeating, in that particular machine, that knob was over there. In your machine, you have to see over there. But usually that knob is the first knob. The multifunctional knobs. You know, where are these multifunctional knobs? These multifunctional knobs are like, on the top of your machine. But why I'm using the word multifunctional knobs? Because there is not written that this is for frequency. The monitor will tell you. Now see, the monitor is here. For example, the monitor will show you a display over here against this knob. This is the first display, and this is for the first knob. This is the second box, which is for second. And the third will be for the third knob. So whatever is in first, try to understand, whatever is in first, I mean the monitor. That function of this knob for this particular point of time will be shown by this box on the monitor. So you have to see on the monitor, and monitor will show you frequency over here. If monitor is showing you, now see the point, if monitor is showing you that the frequency is written over here, then only the first knob will be for the frequency. But what if the machine is not showing you that the frequency is in first box, but in third box, for example? Then the third box will be for the frequency. So you have to see onto the monitor. Monitor is always showing you, but you are not knowing it. That is why you are posing this question. For that, we have taken a class over there. We have showed you on the machine. Right now, I am not taking a course. On machine, how this is working. Please go to the physics and machine settings course. There is a class of knobology. These things are in great detail over there. Now, I'm just elaborating the answer. How to increase the frequency of the given probe. Now, in a probe, Anna, give me the probe. In a given probe, in next room, maybe next room. Now, in a probe, in a convex probe, there is a bandwidth frequency, and the bandwidth frequency can be in between 2 to 5. I'm using word can be. It can be maybe 2.5 to 5.5. So it is roughly in between 2 to 5. Now, the point here is that when I rotate this knob, now see, when I rotate this knob clockwise or anti-clockwise, the frequency will increase or decrease. A pop-up will appear over here. Now see, a pop-up will appear over here with a scale showing you that for now, it is 2. And when you rotate this, it will, now the scale will show you that we are using the 3. So it is that frequency knob which you have to rotate to adjust the frequency. When to adjust, for what to adjust, that is already covered. So it is the frequency knob which will be rotated clockwisely to increase and anti-clockwisely to decrease the frequency. So Dr. Jadav's question is complete. Now Dr. Abhinash, prostatomegaly. Prostatomegaly. Now see, the question is whether I should use grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Preferably no. Preferably no. when I say prostatomegaly grade 1, now see, when I say prostatomegaly grade 1, 30 grams. Now this is age dependent, roughly 30 to 45, age dependent. If I use BHP grade 1, now see, if I use BHP grade 1 can be 31, grade 1 can be 44 also. So better not to give the grading, but you have to give the weight of the prostate, because the consulting doctor will correlate it with age and post-wide residual urine. Because if post-wide residual urine is more, but the prostatic weight is less, then it can be an advanced grading. So we have to see the both weight as well as the post-wide residual urine to label it. That is not your job. That is the job of the urologist. So you give the post-wide residual urine with the prostatic weight, but before post-wide, you have to give the pre-wide also. How much has to be post-wide? Normal 10%. So when I say post-wide is, now see, when I say post-wide is 30, for example, in any case, 30 mls. So I have to see how much was the pre-wide, and if pre-wide was 300, then this is 10%. Now see, this is 10% of the pre-wide, and up to 10% is normal. So the moral is that you have to give pre-wide, post-wide, and the prostatic weight. Not only straightway label that as prostatomegaly grade 1, 2, 3. No. So better not to label it as a grading, but you have to give a detailed report. Next question from same doctor, Dr. Abhinash, is that in fatty AP diameter is increased, but what about the length? So the point here is that in fatty liver, we know now, we have discussed it in course, that in fatty livers, more is in transverse section, more increase is in transverse section. Now the question is, how much is normal? 13 centimeters, age dependent. I am giving an average, 13 centimeters for transverse, that is AP, and 16 centimeters for longitudinal section. So 13 and 16 they are normal for the transverse, and 16 is for the longitudinal. So if you are having more increase, now see, if you are having here 16 or maybe let's take 15 centimeters, and over here it is maybe 16 same, or maybe a slight increase over there, 16.5, then it is more in transverse than in longitudinal, and this can be a fatty liver. So in fatty liver, the more increase is in transverse than in longitudinal, whereas in hepatomegaly, which is due to maybe a hepatitis, more increases in longitudinal than in transverse. That is why when you give fatty liver more increased size, your consultant doctor will palpate, and he is not able to palpate. Then he may think that this report is wrong. But actually, this is not in length. Had this been in length, then only it could have been palpated by that doctor, by that consultant. So more increase is in AP. So this was answer for this question. Next question from same doctor, Dr. Abhinash, is that if diastolic flow is reversed or touching the baseline, how to calculate the resistive index? Now the point here is that those who have joined us, registered, and they have just registered, they are in early phases, they have not touched it yet, the color Doppler, may not understand this. the point here is that I'm having a baseline. When I say a reversal, now see, when I say a S by D ratio, this is S and this is D. When there is diastolic flow, then only I can calculate the S by D ratio. I'm repeating, those who have not taken yet color Doppler will not understand this. Those who have touched and completed will understand this. So if I say, when I say S by D ratio, the D has to be there. Then only I can take S by D ratio. But what if the D is absent? There is no D. Can I take S by D ratio? No, I cannot take. Because then 10 upon 0 will be a static thing, So here we are not taking S by D ratio. If I am not taking S by D ratio, how can I take the resistive index? Because resistive index is the formula which is calculating S minus D upon S. If S is 10, D is 0, this is 10, it has to be, static again. And the next part of the question is that if there is a reversal component, can I take S by D ratio? How can I take S by D ratio? Because this will go now in minus 1 or minus 2, minus 3, anything reversal. So again, this formula will be disturbed. So when I say there is no diastolic flow, don't take RI. Don't comment on any S by D ratio. So you have to label that absent and diastolic flow. And if it is reversed, then it is S minus D, which is already minus. Now you put your maths over there, you will get, puzzled. S minus D. So the point here is that here the formula is not working. So whenever there is reversal, not to take the S by D ratio, not to take the resistive index. Okay. So these were the questions posted by our registered candidates today. See you very soon. If you will be having questions at any point of time during your course, you can post these questions before these interactive sessions so that we can take and paste these questions and show to everybody that this doctor is having this question. We will take it in great detail. So we are taking these interactive sessions at regular intervals depending on the demand. Sometimes we are taking twice a week. Sometimes we are taking fortnightly. So depending on the demand, we are taking these interactive sessions. So please complete your course. This is a request. Please complete your not whole of the course. If you complete, for example, this color Doppler, don't color Doppler, not color Doppler straight away. Physics and machine settings. If you complete the physics and machine settings, then maybe whatever is coming in your mind is already discussed over there. And I'm sure in 99.99% of cases, whatever is coming in your mind is already covered in your next class. So first complete the class, then pose the question. And don't, if you are in physics and machine settings and you are posting a question of color Doppler which you have not yet touched, please don't do that. So see you next time very soon. Thank you very much. God bless all of you. Next session we'll be announcing very soon.